All right. So I'm Ricki from 1075 The River, Woody and Jim Show. And with me, I have Anthony Ramos.
What's up? What's up? What's
I'm
good?
so excited to do this because you are literally everywhere, man. Like everywhere.
It's wild. It's crazy. Yeah, a friend of mine was like, "Yo, I see you every day on Santa Monica on my run." I was like, This is wild. I would have never imagined
Like,
ever."
what a wild experience, probably.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, you hope like when you do things and you put songs out or make movies or whatever you do, you hope that people will just listen. But when you like see the billboard and then you see you're like, yo, I heard it on the radio. Or I saw the movies in the theater. You're like, oh, dang, people really like going to see this. Are they really listening? Are they, you know what I'm saying? So it feels good. It feels really good.
It's got to feel amazing. And you were nominated for an Emmy.
Yo, I woke up to that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I woke up yesterday like, what? Like my manager was like, you were nominated. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Like, how does that feel when you first find out? Other than obviously, like, oh my God, this is real. Like, what is happening? But, like, do you have this sense of this makes sense now? Like, I'm doing the right thing, or a sense of, like, I've been waiting for this. Like, it's about damn time that this happens. Like, how do you feel in that moment?
I mean, honestly, like right now I'm so locked in. Like I'm shooting a movie now in Montreal. And I don't know if it's really even set in because I was like I took a moment. I called my mother first though, which was like really special.
As you should.
And my mom, that was like my like small moment to really like take it in. And I like, we both got a little emotional on the phone, and my mom was like, yo, I woke up this morning and I was praying and I just felt something. I just felt a good feeling in my heart and I didn't really know what it was. And here you are, you calling me right now. I knew it, Papa. I knew it. I was like, yo, that's what's up. And
Oh, my heart.
yeah, yeah. But like that was like the moment of me like taking it in. But then it was like, okay, we got a game time. I gotta go to work in like an hour and I gotta go shoot. Like it was almost like, so I haven't really taken it in. I might do it this weekend. I might go out with my brother and my trainer who are here right now with me. We might have a dinner or something or go out and just, celebrate a little bit. But other than that, I really just, it was like that moment with mom that was really like the most special yesterday. And I really got
I
to
love
take
that.
for that second.
I love that so much because obviously, your parents are the ones that help you along the way. If you have supportive parents, if you're lucky enough to have supportive parents, clearly you do. You have a supportive mom. I'm lucky because I have them. So anything big that happens in my life, the first person that I call is like my mom and then my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the nucleus, you know?
Absolutely. So you're in Montreal. Is that for the new Transformers movie or the sci-fi movie? Because you're, like I said, doing a lot.
So the sci-fi movie we shot already. It's
Oh,
done.
it's already done. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that comes out next year. I don't know when, but yeah, that comes out. That was a wild movie. I shot that in Budapest in September of last year, and we shot that through November, and then this one, this is Transformers though. We're doing Transformers 7 right now, and it's a behemoth. We're gonna be here, and then we're going to Peru. So
Oh, okay.
shooting nights right now. So I was doing some stunts last night. I'm a little sore, you know what I'm saying? A little groggy.
So you're trying to do your own stunts then.
Yeah, no, I do most of them if I can. I mean, I just got my license, so I try to stay away from. I can't do any car stunts. It's not safe. I mean, it's still with my new license, it is not safe for me to get behind that wheel and do some of the stuff these guys are doing. I would never try it. They would never let me in a million years. So it's
Probably
great.
for the best. Yep.
That's for the sake of
Also,
for people's lives.
just gotta say, that is the most New Yorker thing ever to not have your license.
I'm 29. I just got my license. Like I told the instructor, I was like, yo, I said, well, first of all, the parking was the thing I was most nervous about. Thank God I nailed it. I come out, pull out. She's like, okay, you can pull out when you're ready. But I saw her like typing her thing or whatever. And you get nervous every time you see them typing, but you gotta keep your eye on the road anyway. So I'm just like, let me not even look at her. Cause she was like super like this way. I'm about my business. All right. Pulled out, She said, okay, pull up behind this black car. I said, I pulled up behind the black car. She goes, so I pull up. She said, your driving's fine. Your driving's fine. Just remember to check your blind spots. I was like, so does that mean I pass? She's like, hmm. I was like, yo, thank God you just changed my life. I was like, yo, like you didn't even, I just got my license. Like I've been trying to do this for like 8 years.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a big moment. I mean,
you honestly, have a car?
No. So I did it. All right. So this is why I did it. Okay. I got the license. So I got this movie and they were like, yo, we need him to drive in this movie. Can he get his license? I was like, dang. And I only had one small window to do it in, which was like, we started the movie in May. We had like a little break in June because they had to continue prep. And then I was coming back here. I had this small like window in these 2 weeks in June to get this license. And I went back to New York and it was my first time taking a test. I was nervous because I heard most of my friends failed on their first try. And I was like, oh my gosh, please, Lord. But yeah, I got it. And so I got it for this movie. I got my license so that I can drive in this movie.
Okay, so you just casually drive because you said they're not letting you do any of the stunts. So you're just casually driving.
You got to get some shot, like, there'll be some shots of me. Yeah, but I'm not doing none of the crazy stuff in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
good idea.
Yeah, just like the shots of me driving, maybe turning the corner, something like that, but nothing like some of the stuff you're gonna see in this movie. I mean, it's wild. These guys are they're the best. It's crazy.
I'm really excited to see this because I'm a huge Transformers fan, but I have a feeling this is gonna be very different from all the other ones. Oh yeah. And you have a co-star, Dominique Fishback, correct?
Dominique.
She's bomb.
No joke. Dominique is no joke. She killed it in Judas and the Black Messiah and Project Power with Jamie Foxx. Like she's she's also from Brooklyn. She's also from New York, from East New York. You know, what's crazy is that she used to play football with some of the kids that I played baseball with. And there was this one kid named Jerome, named Bobo, and they used to be playing on the block. And he used to be leaving his baseball games. She'd be like, yo, why he always going to leave for these baseball games? We in the middle of a football game. He leaving to these baseball games. She was like, little did I know he was leaving to go play with you.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, small world. And then we met like 6 years ago in the theater scene, like in New York, you know, because it's a small community and everybody kind of knows each other, especially if you're from New York. Ironically, you know, there aren't too many New Yorkers, right? Like when you're a New Yorker, and you're doing theater, that's like a thing. You're like, oh, we're from New York and we're in the theater because a lot of people from other places come to New York to do theater. So it's always cool when you can find somebody who's local and someone who's also from the same borough as you. Anybody from New York, no, like you from the same borough. You're like, oh, we see eye to eye.
Yeah, you're the same. You're one and the same, like two peas in a pod type of deal.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. I love hearing that because I said to you before we started this that I'm originally from New Jersey, New York area. So like, I love that. And I love that feeling of New York, you know, when you meet somebody who's also from New York or from that area and it's like, okay.
You get me? It's like there are words said without words being said.
Absolutely.
I know you feel me.
Exactly. So on the topic of theater, Hamilton and doing all of your Broadway stuff has really impacted and essentially changed your life, right? Like, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sure at the time you didn't know the impact that it was going to have on you. I know I've heard you tell stories about how you didn't even plan to do the musical that you were first in, and none of these things were a part of your ultimate game plan, and it all kind of like fell into place to make sense. Yeah. If there was something that you could tell your younger self in those moments, what would it be?
Wow. I would tell my younger self to have patience, you know? I would tell my younger self to like, you know, I think the biggest issue at that time for me, and still a lot of the times, is that I don't feel good enough. And I think there are advantages to that, right? Like that kind of feeling can propel you to work harder, can push you to push your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit to the limit. But I think as a kid, it was really breaking me down that I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I wish I could tell my younger self, like, yo, like, you are good enough, like, and you deserve good things for your life. Like, your life has been hard, you know, and your journey has not been easy, you know, because it was, you know, I think my back felt against the wall for so many years of my life, growing up in the projects, growing up, you know, in a low income home and neighborhood, right? Like, growing up in a single parent home, and violence and drugs and alcohol being so prevalent in my just in my community, right, and in my circle, right, like, and feeling and like experiencing all of that, and still, like, sometimes even experiencing all of that makes it hard for you to even dream. And it also, like, for me, made me feel like even if I dreamt things, I could never get there. That's not possible for me. I don't have money. I don't have resources. I don't have connections, right? Like, whatever. I don't have any of that. You know, like,
Yeah.
But and then in turn, it can make you feel like I'm not deserving of it, or I'm not even good enough anyway. And you know, and I think I would tell myself, yo, you're good enough, and, like, you're not crazy. You know, what the things that you go to bed dreaming of at night, they're not crazy. They're not. You know, you're more than like your dreams can become a reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of go through that mentality of not feeling good enough, and it's hard to kind of feel like you're good enough because you're always comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, all the time. Especially if you're a creative person, and you, like, you know, you just, it's like, and then on top of that, right? Like, now, I think there's this moment now where there's so many people on a platform on the internet, and there's so much time we spend on these phones, and there's so many people throwing around their opinions and telling the internet and the cyber world what they think of something, right? And then there's like that instinctual part of you where you make something, you just hope people like it. And then if you see something or read something, I barely even read anything, you know what I'm saying? But, like, every now and then, if I see something about, I'm like, man. You know, it's a bummer when you see someone wasn't maybe feeling that song, or they weren't feeling that movie, or they said something bad about this or whatever. And I think it's really, like, again, going back to that point of reminding yourself that you're good enough. And, like, if you do something from a place, from your heart, you know, and you do something from a place of truth and as much honesty as possible, right? Like, and with everything you got, then you did all you could to make it the best it could be. Yeah, I don't know why I went on that tangent, but it was a
good tangent. I'm going to take it because, honestly, like, that was very motivational. It's hard to break yourself out of that thought process too, of not feeling good enough, because
right.
you say it to yourself, like you said, you know, every night you dream and you have all of these ideas in your head, and you're like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. And then so quickly that idea of, no, I can't, like, it's not going to happen for me. And that kind of becomes synonymous with one another. And you tend to continue to do that even when you're doing really, really well.
Right. It's crazy. Like, you know, it's, and it doesn't matter, like, where you are in your life, or, like, I find that I have tendencies that I was, you know, that I'm still working through, that I was doing since high school, right? Like, let's say your album comes out on this day, and then your friend's album comes out the same day, or, right, like, or something like that, or your movie came out that day, and your friend's album or this other movie came out that day. And it's like, you're so focused on, it's like sometimes you could get caught in the trap of being like, oh man, but that's coming out that day, blah, blah, blah. I try, you know, like, and it's like, yo, just understand, you know, I always have to remind myself, just understand that what you did was the best you could do. And you're putting out your best. So there's nothing for me to be concerned about, you know, and that's something I have to remind myself of, because I don't remember it all the time. You know,
it's hard to remember, especially like when you're in the grind and you're doing everything. It's like hard to keep track of your positive thoughts and the positive vibes. It can get very just like convoluted in a way.
That's a fact.
It's rough. And I think one of the biggest things is for everybody to realize that it's rough for everyone. I mean, you're out here doing so much, like so much. Your career is taking off like tremendously, and you still have those thoughts. So, you know, those are things that everybody goes through. And once I think people realize and understand that we're all so similar in that way, is when like we can kind of shed ourselves of those thought processes.
Right. And also be able, I think, and also be able to support each other in
Absolutely.
in a better way. Like, and you know, and because like when we stop, it's almost like when you stop comparing yourself, you're able to like love even deeper, right? You're able to like be like, yo, I'm hyped this person did this, or I'm hyped that they did that, or I'm, you know, and I think that's almost like that. And that, I think in my whole life, that's when the blessings have come, is when I was celebrating someone else, or I wasn't even thinking about, like, I wasn't even thinking about the Emmys. I wasn't thinking about an award. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did Hamilton in 2016. I left that show in 2016. It's 2021. I wasn't expecting to get nominated for an award for that, you know, but I just, you know, I thank God that like, things happen, you know, when you least expect it. But it's like, it's almost just like, anyway, just to speak, you know, speaking to what we're saying. Yeah. Just like focusing on what you're doing, focusing in on doing your best in the moment that you're in. And then, you know, next thing you know, boom, like stuff just happens.
Absolutely. Kind of like, you know, things like In the Heights,
Yes.
which was massive.
Yeah, yeah. That was another huge blessing, another incredible experience that changed, that took my life to another level, you know, and took my career it's taking my career to another level, and it was the first time I got to, you know, play the lead role in a film like that, and really like, you know, I'm really, you know, I've wanted to be a leading player in a movie or anything for so long, and to finally get that opportunity, you know, because it's like, again, it's that thing inside of you where you're like, yo, I know I can do it.
You just got to be given that chance.
Right? Yeah. You're like, does anybody else know? But I know. And then finally, you know, being given that opportunity, you know, I didn't. I was like, let's go. I gotta go hard.
So being in that movie is really important, obviously, for Latinos. You're the head of the show, like you're it, you know? And I know that in other interviews, you said so many times that you had mentors and coaches tell you to stop being so Latino, and like that wasn't what you should be doing. Be more ambiguous with your looks and the way that you talk and things like that. When did you realize like that's just not it? Like that's not the way to go, and that you need to stick to who you really are as a person? Because I mean, that's ultimately what led you to this role that you got, that you said you wanted so badly, to be the lead in a huge huge thing like In the Heights.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, right? Like none of my mentors would ever say anything like that to me, but it was like teachers or like
Teachers.
maybe like, you know, I had a couple students at the school. They'd be like, they'll say stuff like that to me because that was their idea of what professionals were doing, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody in the school knew, right? Because if, like, let's be real, if you working all the time, you don't even have time to teach. So everyone's just making predictions about what they think, you know, or based on what they might have not been able to accomplish, you know, and it's all, you know, and it's all like a mindset, right? Like, oh, well, these were the people that were working. This guy plays these kind of roles and he's Hispanic, but people don't really know. And I was like, you know, and they were like, you know, maybe if you grow your hair out, you'll be more ethnically ambiguous. People won't really know off the bat where you're from. So you can play this and you can play that kind of role. And you can play that kind of role. You know, this race, that race. And at first I was like, oh, okay, well, if that's what I got, you know, if you change the way you speak, right? You speak more in American standard, right? You speak more, have a neutral dialogue. Don't sound like you from the hood in New York, you know, like basically is what I felt, you know, they were saying. It was crazy. Like, and it wasn't even just mental. Like, I remember I worked a job at Bread's. I don't even want to shout the spot out, but I worked a job at a place and the boss pulled me almost, I blew it up on the radio. The boss pulls me to the side and she goes, And I was always charismatic. I was giving samples in the front. People were like digging my energy.
Yeah, that's who you are. Like that's your personality.
And she pulls me to the back and she said, "Can you, I don't know, I'm just a little concerned. Can you just speak a little like the way you talk?" Like she kept beating around the bush. She said, "Can you just speak a little less?" And I finished it for her. I said, "A little less hood, ghetto."
Mm.
And she said, she nodded her head, yeah. And I was like, wow. And that was like a low moment for me because I was like, I'm just in front of the store being myself. I'm, make it, people are smiling. People are like, I'm having the best time I can possibly have giving out samples of pastries, and like, and, no one's responding negatively to the energy that I'm trying to give to them, right? It's like, yo, you're gonna be in the store for maybe 5 minutes. Why not make you smile or something like that? And it just that hurt, that hurt. And like having that in my mind, and that goes back to again, it's kind of funny how we keep going back to this theme of not feeling good enough. But like that, hearing that from teachers and hearing that from whoever, bosses or people I went, peers who I went to school with or whatever, like that, it was hard to like be like, how do I be then? How do I be? And then going into musical theater where I didn't grow up watching musicals. I got, I auditioned for, I thought it was a talent show and it ended up being a musical in high school. And that's how I got in. I sang a song and they asked me to read the lines and they gave me a lead role in the show. Like, I didn't mean to audition for the musical. I meant to audition for the talent show. And, and I get in and I loved it. But then it was like I entered this world of musical theater where I was like, man, like people really look at me like I feel like I don't fit in here a little bit. And I don't know who Rodgers and Hammerstein are. I don't know who Stephen Sondheim is. I don't know who Andrew Lloyd Webber is. I don't know any of these composers. I don't even know what their work really. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and these all the students, they I felt like I was behind. And then to have that added on, that feeling of like, being like, I don't even know how to be in this musical theater world. So how do I even work? I was doing auditions and I was getting typecast out. I couldn't get a job, but I just, again, I just kept going. And then I saw In the Heights. I saw In the Heights on Broadway, and it was like a light bulb moment for me. It really was. I was like, I saw all these people on stage and they sound like the people I grew up with, and they look like the people I grew up with. And I'm like, that person reminds me of my aunt. That person reminds me of my cousin. That person reminds me of the girl I had a crush on in 5th grade. That person reminds, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things. And they're singing music, the music coming through the speakers in this theater right now sound like the music I grew up listening to. And I just kept, it was like the moment, like it was like the light bulb moment, like, because I kind of wanted to quit. And I just sat there and I was like, there's no way. If there's something like this on Broadway, I'd be a fool to quit.
Yeah, then there's a space for you. You know that there's a space for you, and that even beyond that point, there's a space for you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's huge. I mean, I think everybody knows the idea of having a huge dream and wanting to quit all the time. I think everybody can relate to the idea of being like, I'm done, because it gets so frustrating. But I'm assuming that you kind of took all those moments of the I want to quit moments and just working 10 times harder. Oh
yeah. Nah, that pushes me. I wake up every morning and I attack. Like that's
hell yeah.
that's my mentality. Especially when you grow up and you don't have a lot. You're like, yo, let's go. What's next? What mountain are we climbing today? Because I got my boots, I got my stick, I got my what's the thing when you climb the mountains with the ice and you gotta
the ice pick.
Yeah, the ice pick, all that. I'm like, I got it all. Let's go. I'm ready. Challenge accepted.
So I know you said that you were typecast a lot. I noticed this like big shift in entertainment in Hollywood. And I don't know if it's something that's kind of just maybe pushed on us, the idea that they're reaching more into representation of all different ethnicities, or if that's really happening. You're in it. So do you feel that shift, or is it something that they're kind of just like, oh, we're doing this, like this is a real thing, everybody should be really happy about it, when it's not actually happening?
No, no, it's happening. It's happening for sure. It is. I think that, I think there's a demand for it from the people, right? And the people are, right, in fact, the buyers of the content,
Absolutely.
the consumers. So I think the people are asking for more diversity, and I think Hollywood is, thankfully, I think, finally listening. Right? There's still hurdles, and there's still, right? I think we need more executives of different ethnicities, right, in higher roles. Working for the studios, working for the labels, right? I think for everything, and I think we're making progress in that area, but all in all, there's a lot of progress happening as far as diversity in Hollywood and music. Music's been doing it, and I love that. Now we're seeing, it's about time. Thank God. We're seeing the Latin artists on the same charts as pop artists and the hip hop, right? Because I'm like, yeah,
Some Maluma, some Bad Bunny, they're all up there.
yes. I mean, because
Yeah.
what do we? These guys are they putting up the same numbers.
Yeah. Hell
Like,
yeah.
they deserve to be in those categories. Why? Because they singing in Spanish. That's why you don't want to put them in the same category. You know,
Exactly. But they're like, we're here and we're going to do it. And they're outselling people who were speaking English. So
thousand
they're
percent.
there. They're taking over.
I love it. I love it. But it's all about us coming together. And music is beautiful. Music is a beautiful thing. Entertainment is a beautiful thing. It's like, and it's colorful. The world is colorful. So entertainment, music, movies, all of that should reflect that.
That's the fun thing about music too, is that you don't even have to speak the language to like the music that you're listening to.
Right.
That's not even, the two don't go together. Like you can listen to Spanish music and not understand Spanish at all, and you still want to get off your chair and dance your ass off. That's still a thing you want to do.
Absolutely. It's, you hear melody you love, you hear beat you love. You're like, this song remind, you don't have to understand that's the beauty of music. Like, it's like, it's that's what makes it special, right? So again, I think that's I'm grateful that I'm in a I'm seeing this happen, at least from my perspective. I see, like, that there's, the world is embracing all different types of cultures, in music and in movies and TV and all that.
So we only have a few minutes left, but I want to talk about your new album, Love and Lies,
Yeah.
because I've been listening to it nonstop and I love it, because I wake up early as hell and I need to listen to pump up music as I'm driving. Otherwise, my ass is going to fall asleep and I'm going to cause a car accident. So I'm constantly listening to Love and Lies. And I feel like because you came out with an EP and then you came out with your album and then this album, and each one is kind of like a different era, I feel like.
Yeah.
What's this era all about? I know it's all like upbeat, like let's dance, let's enjoy our lives kind of feel. Like, is that exactly what you were going for? Because I know you had another album that was ready.
I did. Yes, I had. Yeah, I did. You're right. I had a whole other album that was ready, and I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. We didn't. It's there. It's in the vault somewhere. We got it, but it was. I put together maybe like 2 other album track lists before I went out to LA. I went to Los Angeles this last year to write, because we had the album ready for 2020. And then we decided not to put an album out. And then I went back to LA at the top of 2021 and I wrote, but I kept it. It was amazing because I had this moment where I kept the group smaller. And I only wrote with like my closest friends in 2021. And it was the best time I had making music. And it was just, and I would say 12 songs, 9 of the 12 are from 20, writing in 2021. All them songs from that I wrote in 2020 didn't even make it, and they're still there and I still love them and they'll still come out maybe, hopefully, at some point.
Okay, because that was going to be my other question: is if they'll ever see the light of day, or if we're like kind of past that.
No, no, them joints is fire though. There's some heat from 2020 that I saved. I was like,
Love
but
that.
yeah,
Good.
but this album, when I wrote it, I was like, yo, like it was like a party every day in the studio, and some songs that didn't even make it from this year were like they were heavier and they were just more R&B leaning, or like they were more like they were a little darker, they were a little like more minor chords, but I really wanted to just explore this more raw, like fun side of me as well that I didn't really do on the first one. The first album, I think I was very like, that was like more like story time. And I really wanted people to understand like me as a human being in the little bit of time I had in the 12 songs that I was doing it in. And it's funny, it was my first album and I'm like really finding myself as a songwriter. I'm really finding myself as an artist. I'm like, what do I want to say? But I think the second album, I had a way clearer idea of what I wanted to do. And I wanted this album to be more about a mood and a vibe and a feeling as opposed
Oh,
to,
it is a mood.
what I'm saying, as opposed to what I was saying. And I think in like in me thinking about that and having that at the forefront of my mind, where I'm like, yo, the only thing I'm concerned about is the vibe, the mood, the feeling. The words came out after that. Then I knew what I wanted to say after that, because if I heard the beat, I was like, oh, this make me feel like this. If I heard, you know what I'm saying? I heard like this one song on the album called Masterpiece. The only thing
Love it.
yo, thanks. That song only had strings. That was it. There's a string part in the production. My boy Jesse's playing beats. Jesse Shakin. Shout out to Jesse Shakin. He's playing these beats, and we like, yo, we feeling a couple of them, but not today. Like, let's save those two for another day, but we're not really feeling that today. He's like, well, I got some other things. Like, I got these strings. They're just string parts. And I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
plays these string parts. And I'm like, let's make a beat. Let's put some 808s on that. And let's write to that. That is crazy. And then
Love it.
song about a masterpiece, right? Is these violins, and we wanted to add it. It almost felt like this classical element mixed with this hip hop kind of boom R&B kind of vibe. And I said it could be fly to talk about how, if you're the masterpiece, right? You think about, like, when you even think about classical music, you associate that with something beautiful or something like people dress up, or you see it at a museum or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
said, like, imagine like seeing the most beautiful person you've ever seen. This person is a masterpiece. They make the violins go off, but they also make your heart beat like the 808s, and it's like, and the words reflect that feeling. I could tell that you're different by the way that you talk. Everything I've been missing, I could tell. No, by the way that you walk, everything I've been missing, I could tell when you talk. Anything you want, girl, yeah, you got it. Two-tone on that Paddock matching Birkin wallet. I know it when I see it, even though, girl, you be hiding. Put you in the phone, shorty, have you flying private. Want to tell you the truth, baddest one in the room, something out of the Louvre. They don't make you in two. You a classic, magic. You a masterpiece. So it was like, that was kind of where that vibe came. But it was all about a feeling. This whole album was about a feeling, and blessings. And I wrote these songs with my closest friends, and it's the most fun I've ever had writing music. And it's amazing that people vibing out to it like the love, man. The love has been so fire, music is my first love. Music is has always been the thing that, music led me to musical theater, right? The music
Right.
and movies. Like, I just so happened to do those things first, and then finally, like, being able to become an artist and make my own albums and write finally and perform on tour. Like, this is what this was always the dream.
Well,
Yo,
it was amazing talking to you. I want to talk to you literally forever.
yo, thank you, man, for real. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. This is amazing. I loved hearing all about your journey and everything. It's truly something else.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to actually, connect, man. And I remember the first time, and you were saying first time we met, we didn't really get to chop it up, man. So it's good.
Love it. Thank you so much.